All right, so here we go. Second game of the day, the last game of the tournament. We are in Galveston, Texas at the PSP first event of the year. And I'm Matty Marshall. So we have the Boston Red Legion. They're taking on Chattanooga CEP. Chattanooga CEP, they are the rookies here to the Pro Division this year. They come out of Chattanooga, played an insane paintball down there. And they had a rough start yesterday to their pro journey. They went 0-3 and had a point differential of -12. However, I got to give them some props. They were definitely able to compete against Impact. It was a very, very close game. And let's see what they can do against the Russian Legion right here. So on the breakout, you see Boston breaking out. And that's Justin Rabikoff running and gunning. And he's going to try to wrap around and get into the snake. And Chattanooga losing a player off the break. 2 players off the break for Chattanooga. And that's definitely something they're going to have to contend with right now. And then here we have Boston's playing pretty slow. They haven't really made any moves after the first initial moves. You can see right now that's Justin Rabikoff. He wants to get in there. You can see by his body language he wants to make that move. And oh, they lose Fedorov out of that back corner. Just don't know what he was trying to do. And another Chattanooga player coming off. So the bodies are starting to drop for Chattanooga. And yeah, Russians are playing smart, methodical. You know, they're just rolling their guns, shooting their lanes, and they're dinking guys out. And yeah, that's pretty much going to do it for Chattanooga here in this first point. Justin Rabikoff running down the field, just clearing, and no one's shooting at him, so he's going to run and grab that flag. Or let Matt Blonsky grab the flag. So Blonsky gonna walk the flag in for the Russians. So the score is now 1-0. You know, Matt Blonsky is one of those players that he started out playing with his brother Bart, and they came out of New York Extreme from the New York area, and the brothers really made a statement on the paintball scene. Very aggressive players. And Bart, though, over the years has really morphed his game, and he was kind of lived in the shadow of his brother for a while, but now, you know, he just is has just been a really integral part of the Russian Legion's success. He's super consistent, and we talk about all the time. You got your, you know, it's really hard to build a championship team around players who, you know, they play one game at a 10, other game at a 2. You know, you need players who consistently are going to be playing at 8, and that's Bart Blonsky. He is always, sometimes he's playing at a 10, that's for sure, but you're always going to get real consistent play out of Bart Blonsky. And the Russians yesterday had some mixed results. They lost to the Ironman. They did win a game though, and they not looking terrible today, but I'll tell you what, it's not the paintball that they are used to playing. And I'm interested to see how Chattanooga steps up to this challenge. You know, they came out and they played some hard-fought battles yesterday. I mean, they got smashed by Dynasty 7-0. But other than that, I definitely thought that, you know, and also penalties haunted them too. So that is definitely something that they're going to have to watch today. 15 seconds to go before the start of this next point. See what sort of breakout Boston Red Legion brings here. All right, so Boston on the breakout, and oh, player gets dinked out of that death trap bunker. Oh, they lose 2 off the break, so just 3 Russians left alive. Let's see what they can do with this. Chattanooga with 5 bodies alive, double stacking up the back center, and that's Boston Red Legion on your screen right now. Just trying to battle. You know, they're stuck right now in those back bunkers. You can see the back corner bunker on the Dorito side. He's making his move into the 30-yard line, Dorito. And here goes Chattanooga all the way past the 50-yard line. Now he's getting shot at cross field. Like, it doesn't really have that much of a shot on him. And that's Keen in here for Chattanooga, who's been playing pretty well for him, honestly, over here. Oh, now he's able to get a shot in. It looks like Fedorov trying to get out to that. No, it's Britnikov trying to get out to that back corner. So just 2 Russian players alive right now. And here comes Chattanooga trying to tie this game up. So Key now making his way down the field, and there comes Chattanooga, shooting out the last Russian player. So nice job by Chattanooga to tie it up. They were able to shoot a couple players off the break, and that was really key. The way that this field has been breaking down, it's been kind of rough for teams out there trying to shoot guys off the break yesterday, at least in the beginning of the day. But I think teams are starting to figure that out. But of course, that's going to happen in the second day of play. Teams are going to go back. They're going to have meetings. They're going to have that roundtable discussion about, all right, well, who shot who from where, and who watched what game, and oh, the Russians were doing this good, or Dynasty was doing this well, and I think that they kind of got things figured out, or at least they're going to have the best chance of shooting guys off the break this morning after yesterday's play. But this field also it's not the easiest because those front bunkers are not very makeable. A lot of teams aren't really trying to make them off the break. So because of that, you're not seeing a ton of guys get shot off the break. But that was yesterday. Again, today is a whole nother day. Dynasty in the first game of the day, very effective against Impact, putting a pretty solid beat down on Impact. And and I'm interested to see what the Russians are going to be able to do. They weren't able to shoot anyone off the break that last point. Just about 37 seconds to go here. It's all tied up at 1 apiece. And let's see what lineup the Russians put out there. Now the Russians, pretty same lineup as far as what they had from this year to last year, from last year to this year. Except for the exception of Dave Baines. Dave Baines going over to Tampa Bay Damage, who played pretty well yesterday. And I really like the combo of Matt Blonsky and Steve Rabikoff's son, Justin Rabikoff, who has just been stepping up, just ridiculous amounts the past couple years and has become one of the best players in the game. And they also have Fedorov. So, think about that. Matt Blonsky, Fedorov, and Justin Rabikoff on one side of the field. Fedorov getting shot off the break, and Chattanooga losing a player off the break. And here comes Justin. Ooh, Justin Rabikoff gets clipped, just kind of lackadaisically making his move into that bunker. And you can tell he's like, where did that come from? So Justin doing the slow walk off, and here comes Chattanooga. Big dig into Snake 1, right into Snake 2 around the corner. He's going to try to get past the 50-yard line because the Russians are not looking down this tape. They're trying to shoot at the, looks like Chattanooga has a player in the 50-yard line, Dorito. And Chattanooga, able to get a shot on the pack, and the Russians these last 2 points have just been not getting it done. Chattanooga stepping up. And Matt Blonsky is just fighting as hard as he possibly can out of this back corner bunker, and he is just going to get run down here. So here comes Chattanooga. Wow, so the score now 2-1 in favor of Chattanooga CEP. And it's really good to see teams like Chattanooga stepping up and trying to live their dream of playing pro paintball. And it's a hard road. It's a really hard road. And they played divisional ball, but it wasn't like Vicious, where Vicious, when they stepped up last year, they had been winning championships in divisional play as they progressed up every single year, and they had this specific goal. Okay, win Division 1, win semi-pro, and win. They really kind of laddered their way up. Whereas Chattanooga, they had some success down in Divisional League. They really are taking a big bite here, and I'm honestly impressed. Like I said, they had. If you look on the board, they were 0-3 yesterday. They didn't win a game. They struggled with penalties, and they had a negative 12-point differential. However, on the bright side, they were able to narrowly lose to Impact, and Impact is a really, really good team. They did get destroyed by Dynasty, and they showed some signs of, I wouldn't say of greatness. I'm not throwing that word out there yet for them at all, but they just showed some signs that at least mentally they're ready to take on this challenge. They don't seem to be scared. They don't seem to be intimidated by playing against, I'm sure, some of these teams and players that they've looked up to when they started their paintball career. Got about 40 seconds to go before the start of this next point. And Keene, you know, I really think that Keene has been stepping up for him over here on the snake side. And I'll tell you what, they're starting to shoot guys off the break. Like I was saying before, I think that that's really going to, it wasn't really much of a factor yesterday, but I think that that's going to come into play here today. It definitely was in the first game when Dynasty dismantled Impact. So right now, Dynasty with the next line they put out there. Or sorry, the Russians, the next line that they put out there. All right, on the breakout. Wow, 3 guns up off the break for the Russians. And they literally were just standing out in the open, able to make it out, though, alive, except for they did lose. It looked like Pantelev out in the corner, but they still have Britnikov alive in the bunker of death, as I like to call it. And again, that's a new shape for this year. Oh, and they lose that back center. The Russians are just falling apart. I don't know exactly what's happening. Here comes Britnikov. He's going to have to try to make something happen as Keene consistently getting into the snake. And he's shooting cross field. Oh, and he gets a shot. Oh, and he got shot cross field. He might have traded out, though. No, he's clean. So Keene misses his shot, though. Britnikov gets killed trying to take Keene down over here. So chaos on the snake side. There's no one left alive on the snake side of the field. Snake side of the field is completely open. And it looks like we have a 2-on-2 situation. Oh no, it's a 1-on-2 situation. Oh no, and wow, the Russians just getting shot out of their bunkers, which is very uncharacteristic for them. So Evan Fife for Chattanooga, having a good game up that center, gets a couple kills. And all of a sudden, it is 3-1 Chattanooga, and let's see how this is a test for the Russians. There's a ton of time left. 14:24 on the clock. They're down. They're 1-1 coming off yesterday. They don't have a good point spread. They made a mental mistake in their win yesterday when they had 6 points and the time was ticking off. So instead of actually grabbing the flag and hanging that 7th point, they spent too much time checking each other over, and they ended up not able to score that last point, which is hurting them, is going to hurt them potentially on their point differential, especially if they can't lose this game, honestly. I mean, they could lose this game and then win the next one, and maybe by the grace of the paintball gods make it through, but this is clutch time for the Russians, and traditionally they dig deep during these particular points, and I'm interested to see what their look is going to be like when they take the field here again. Timeout called by the Russians. It's a very smart timeout. They have a pretty extensive coaching, so they have 3 coaches. So when we talk about the changes that happened this year, one of the changes was that the field layout was not released a month ahead of time. It was only released about a week ahead of time. And though that did still give the teams with some of the bigger budgets to practice the field before, it wasn't that masterful practice session that these teams, or sessions that these teams were able to get in to really lock these fields down and get all their moves. And I think that's hurt the Russians a little bit. Obviously they've struggled a little bit this event, so I think it's going to be pretty interesting to see what happens this next point. So again, our score is 3-1. And it looks like we got a brief technical timeout here. So if I'm the Russians, I would try to figure out who's getting shot off the break and why. I think that is probably number 1 on the checklist that they should be going down. And so in their meeting, it's like, okay, right now in their huddle, okay, look, you're getting shot out. Why? I think that one of their coaches, whoever it is that's watching these guys and kind of critiquing them as they're playing, really needs to call out some guys, saying, hey, look, you're not dying off the break. I just saw you get shot out of your bunker 2 games in a row, or 3 points in a row. And they need to really hammer that down. Say, look, play tight. I mean, we don't do endless hours of drills in our indoor facility in cold-ass Moscow so you can walk out here and get shot out of your bunkers by, no disrespect, the rookies to the division. So, this is really this is a game where if you're the Russians, and maybe this has a little something to do with it. They probably thought they were going to come out here and smash down and introduce Chattanooga to professional paintball, like Dynasty did yesterday. So I think that probably has something to do with it. They may not admit it. Russians may not admit that fact, but you can just look at it in their body language that they're taking these guys lightly. I just saw Justin Rabikov get shot, lackadaisically running up to his bunker, and he just got clipped in his arm. That's not something that I think you would necessarily see out of these guys if they were playing Infamous or Dynasty or any of these other top teams that are out here. But so that would be definitely, so 1 would be, hey, why are you getting shot at your bunkers? 2 would be, look, guys, seriously, these guys have paintball guns. They obviously can play paintball because they took Impact to a close game yesterday, and they're beating us right now 3-1. So get it together and get composed. So they haven't been running back-to-back lines. They're sending, the 2 different lines they have out, at least on this Snake side. They've got Justin Rabikov out there right now. Right now on your screen, you're looking at CEP. Cross-eyed paintball is what CEP stands for. And there's the Russians. It's got Fedorov with his back to the camera right now. That's Justin Rabikov, who actually looks tall, or taller. He's really not that tall. And then Matt Blonsky, Mishka. So I'm very interested to see what is going to happen here with the Russians. We have a scoreboard malfunction, trying to get that back up. And so you're looking at this overhead shot of the field, and if you look at the top portion of your screen right here, that back bunker was very makeable behind on the Drio side, was very makeable. This is the top left-hand corner of your screen. Was very makeable all day yesterday. A couple people are getting shot at that now. Also, if you look at that little A bunker, sort of at the center bottom right of your screen. Now that A bunker, that's been the bunker of death. It's a new structure. It really hasn't been something that has been implemented. I mean, now there's been bunkers that have been a lot like it, but you see a better shot of it right there. And that bunker has been really tough. And you'd think that people would be able to get to that spot and live, but I don't know if it's just the, you have this body knowledge that becomes integral to the game, and that body knowledge becomes second nature. You don't really think about it a lot when you're playing pro paintball. I mean, yes, you're always trying to, is my pack in, this sort of thing, but when you play a stand-up temple, or you play the snake, or you play those little pins, you've played those specific spots so many times before that and again, it becomes ingrained, it becomes muscle memory, and you don't think about it too much. But that particular bunker of death, a lot of guys are getting shot at it. It has kind of some unique angles, sloping angles to it that I think is, getting a lot of people shot in the face, getting some hoppers nicked, and it's definitely not, it's not been the players' friends so far. All right, looking at CEP right now, and they look confident. I would be confident too. We're 3 up on the Russians right now, or 3-1 on the Russians. Now that's really not that big of a lead, especially with 14 minutes left. So I hope that they don't get too confident. I mean, you want to be up enough to try to be exerting your will on the other team, but I really hope that they don't. I know they're not going to take the Russians lightly, but if the Russians score a point here, now we got a 1-point game. This is the kind of the crucial point, though. We talk about that 3-point spread then we got about 35 seconds left to go before the start of this point, but with that 3-point spread right now, 1-3, if CEP gets this next point, then it's going to be 4-1. That's kind of when desperation time starts to set in for teams, and the point spread looks a little bit more daunting. So this is a very crucial point for the Russians. They got a pretty stellar lineup out there, and we'll see what they do to bring to play here. Right now, 5 seconds to go before the start of this point. Let's watch the breakout. Looking at the Russians right here on the screen on the right-hand side. All right, there's the breakout. That's Justin Rabikov going to that laydown, or that the little A, bunker of death, and they were able to make it out on the Dorito side of the field. Oh, and they shoot one of the CEP players off the break on the snake corner. No one really on the snake side for both of these teams. And you look at that, there's the shot for the Russians, and Justin Rabikoff, he's battling, he wants to get out of that bunker. We had him up here in the booth yesterday and talking about that bunker, and he doesn't like that bunker. He's, you know, obviously a very aggressive player, and he's not going to want to spend much time there. I'm interested to, CEP is definitely, I don't really see anyone shooting at Justin right now. Okay, there we go, he's able to make his move. Now the Russians are aggressively pushing up the field, 3 moves, moving up on the Dorito side in the center, and here comes Justin Rabikoff on the snake side of the field. And Justin trying to battle to get into that snake. Oh, Justin able to take out that back center, and he should be able to move into the snake here. Here he goes, no one's shooting at him, still no one's shooting at him. He's trying to, oh, they're able to clip that center temple, and he's gonna cut on the inside, and he's gonna come around, smoke down the last guy. Nice job by Justin Rabikoff and the Russians. I think it's also pretty funny that the Rabikoffs, both Rab and Justin, are Russian, and Justin ended up being a star on the Russian Legion. And I think actually they're related to some famous Russian writer back in the day. So kind of ironic. So we got ourselves a 1-point game right now. The score is 2-3. .03 left to play. And now, like I was saying before, we got that 1-point game. And that was a good point for the Russians. I think that they gained a little bit more of their composure back. And Justin stepped up, had a good point. They were able to shoot somebody off the break. So they were doing all the things right. And CEP, they had some guys die out of their bunkers. They lost that guy off the break. You know, you're going to lose players off the break. Nothing you really, I mean, there is stuff you can do about that. If you're listening out there and, hey, I'm getting shot off the break a lot, what should I do? Well, there's a couple different options you have. You can either run and gun out to your spot, run on a delay. And I think the most important thing to remember, a lot of younger players, when you guys are coming up, is to really you want to keep your eyes up, and you want to be looking at the incoming streams of paint, especially now, this format here, the Race 2 format, it's 20 feet longer, and that 20 feet is really going to give you the option to dodge streams of paintballs a little bit better than you could before. But until you actually implement that part into your game, it's just something you have to keep in mind. And when I say implement in a game, I mean you got to do it in practice, and it's a very interesting skill because you're not looking where you're running, which is naturally what you would be inclined to do. However, you're keeping your eyes on the incoming streams of paint. So that does require a lot of practice. It is a huge, huge benefit and a huge step up in skill level if you're able to do that. All right, so here we go, 5 seconds before the start of this next point. All right, so on your screen right here, Russians streaking out, losing a player off the break, doubling up that back center, and here's CEP. That's Key, number 21 for Chattanooga, rolling his gun towards that back center. You can see him shooting that lane, puffs of smoke coming out here early morning. And you can see the Russians spread. They got that back center temple, 30-yard line, insert Dorito. And they're playing the pin right there. That's kind of an interesting spot to be playing. That's Britnikoff. He is a very small guy, so I couldn't stand up in that pin. But that's actually one of the things that makes him an asset to this team is he runs really low. He's really hard to shoot, and you see him there trying to scurry. Barely makes it into the Dorito. Looks like he might have took a bounce there, but the referee called him clean. So Britnikoff's the inside route is the easier route. And you can see now he's gonna try to head check there. He's head checking. And now we're looking at the CEP, and he's in the back corner bunker on the snake side there. Britnikoff had made the move to the inside part of the snake. He's in snake 2 right now. So the player on your screen is gunfighting. That you can see him in the back right corner, top right hand corner of your screen. Now Britnikoff put him in, makes his move up to the next portion, and the Russians, oh, Britnikoff almost got a shot cross field. And the Russians now have both 50-yard line bunkers on the tape lines, on the sidelines, and 4 players left alive for the Russians. Looks like 3 left alive for Chattanooga. Tense moments here. 11 minutes and 26 seconds left, and we got ourselves a 1-point match. And you can see the bottom portion of your screen right there, Britnikov, Malloy for the Russians. And he's playing down the tape line. Now he's backing up. He's going to try to get a cross-field shot on that Dorito, and the Dorito is just not stop shooting him. That's actually a really good job for CEP. They're doing a good job of trying to contain Britnikov over here. And you see the player on the tape is coming out, trying to gunfight him. So Britnikov's in kind of a tough spot. He doesn't really have the ball right now. The back center player for the Russians, and you see that's the CEP cross-up right here. And you see that the top portion of your screen, Chattanooga player. Oh, Britnikov now making his move across past the 50-yard line. He's able to get a shot on the back center. Nice job by Malloy. And he's kind of stuck here right now. He wants to move though. He definitely, he's going to make his move. Oh, he's able to shoot out the back. Oh, so Malloy has a game. Little three-pack for Malloy to tie the game up for the Russians. And that, like I was saying, you know, this was a test for the Russians. They're playing the rookies in the league, and they're down 2 in a must-win situation for them. And so for any Russian fans out there, it's got to be good to see them step up and take these last 2 points to tie it up here with 10 minutes and 21 seconds left to go. I'm Matty Marshall. This is the first event of the 2011 Paintball Sports Promotion season. We're in Galveston, Texas. The weather has been absolutely beautiful. It's a little overcast today. Actually, it's perfect paintball weather. It's a slight breeze coming in off the ocean. And it's, yeah, perfect paintball weather. Not going to get too hot. It's not humid at all, so your paint's not going to get affected. It's also not too cold, so your paint is not going to get too brittle, which some people had some problems with in the morning yesterday. It was a little chillier yesterday in the morning. Though the sun did come out, and really couldn't ask for a better day out here. As you see, there's the view of the coast and the event site, or a little small portion of the event site. This is, yeah, it's starting to fill up a little bit here in the morning. Lots of games. We got this is game 2 of 11 today, and lots of there was lots of chaos yesterday. Honestly, you know, in the first division, you had Tampa Bay Damage with 2 wins, 0 losses, +6 on the point differential. Infamous 1-1, -4. Struggled with penalties. Infamous just haunted by penalties yesterday and some erratic play. Aftershock, completely disappointing day for them. They went 0-2, -5 on the point differential. X Factor played, I thought, amazing. Honestly, they're 1-2. However, that score does, or the record does not dictate their play. And Vicious 2-1. They really stepped up from last year, though they did eliminate Dynasty from the World Cup last year. All right, let's check out this breakout. That's Justin Rabikoff on your screen, and there goes Keen again. Keen's been he's been doing good for CEP, man. He's pretty consistent. Oh, get a crossfield shot. Russians in the back corner, not able to stay alive, so just 4 bodies alive for the Russians right now. Is also CEP loses a player. Oh, they get a major penalty, so they got a major penalty assessed on Chattanooga, and I'll tell you what, they had penalty issues yesterday, and now just when the chips are down and it's tied up at 3 apiece, major penalty assessed. But that's one of those rookie mistakes, and it's really frustrating to be in a situation where it's tied and you need to kind of dig deep, and then you start getting penalties. And here comes the Sharks, sensing blood. Rabikoff trades out with Fife, and it's just 1 player left alive in the back center. 3 Russians players. So it's Fedorov, and looks like Pantelev, who able to take out that back center. So now the Russians, with 3 unanswered points of their own, going to take this score to 4-3 as we are about to crack the 9-minute mark here. 8 minutes and 59 seconds left to play here in this match. So yeah, I was just breaking down Division 1. Now Division 2, the division we're currently watching play. Boston Red Legion, disappointing day for them yesterday. They went 1-1. And Impact went 2-0 with a +2 on the point differential. Dynasty 1-1, though Dynasty came out this morning and smashed Impact 7-1. And LA Ironmen beat the Russians yesterday, and they have a 2-1 record with +4 point differential, so they are in the driver's seat in that division. And then Chattanooga, who we are watching kind of struggling right now against Russians after performing well in the beginning part of this match. They were 0-3 and -12 on the point differential. So timeout called by Chattanooga. That's a really good timeout, trying to slow the roll of the Russians. We'll see if that's possible. Once the mighty red machine gets rolling, it's kind of hard to slow them down. As we saw last year, Russians went undefeated in World Cup and had a complete dismantling of Aftershock in the finals of the championship game last year, and they beat Aftershock 7-0. I was actually in the Aftershock pits when that happened, and it was kind of a disappointing game for them, to say it. I mean, obviously it was incredibly disappointing for them because they played stunning to get to the finals. Now, frustrating for Aftershock, actually, that they are 0-2 with the -5 point differential because they played so well at the end of last year. They had some player losses in the off season, as like Tim Montressor went over to Impact, and so they're just kind of really struggling to find their groove right now. But we'll see what they bring today. So we got about 1 minute and 45 seconds. The all-Russian lineup comes out. Again, Russians pretty consistent with their players so far, or in the offseason. They really only lost Dave Baines. And Dave Baines now playing for Tampa Bay Damage, who I'm looking forward to seeing play today. And Tampa Bay Damage, they went 2-0 yesterday and with a +6, so they are in the driver's seat in that first division. But they still have 2 games to play today, so we'll see how they step up. If they step up, I think they will. Really getting some veterans though. Tampa Bay Damage lost Jason Edwards. He's trying to be a cop, or I think he is a cop now. So had to take a little hiatus, which is a big hit for them. Really didn't see it on the field too much though, because they played well yesterday. But they had Brian Smith step up. They had a pretty epic, actually get a chance to check out that game. They had a pretty epic one-on-one battle with Brian Smith and one of the Aftershock players. It was a 9-minute game, or 9-minute point. So essentially having the total game time in 1 point, the very first point of the match. All right, 30 seconds to go for the start of this next point here. Score 4-3, just under 9 minutes, and 59 seconds left on that Chattanooga penalty, so they're gonna have to play down a body. Looking at Chattanooga on your screen right now, getting the last couple seconds in before the start of this point. And they're the Russians on the breakout. Pretty decent breakout for the Russians. And it looks like they have doubling up that back center. You see Chattanooga on your screen. That's the back corner bunker on the snake side of the field. And he's rolling his gun, loading and shooting. You see the overhead view of Chattanooga's line. Again, had to start with 4 bodies. They did get everyone out alive, and they're now rolling their guns. And everyone just playing smart right now. Chattanooga making a move on the Dorito side of the field. "16 seconds left on that penalty, so they're going to get another body here pretty soon. Russians with Britnikov making a move up that center, but playing pretty slow on this point, even though they're only facing 4 guns. And the Chattanooga player making some space. You can see the Russian line right now, doubling up that back center. And Chattanooga getting that player out of the penalty box. Ooh, but they immediately, as soon as they get the player out of the penalty box, they lose. Their snake player is trying to make a move to get into the insert. Dorito over here on the snake side. Now you're looking at Britnikov on your screen, trying to roll his gun towards the player on the Dorito side. Still doubling up that back center, and there he's going to finally make his move out to the bunker of death. There's only 1 gun, no, 2 guns on the snake side. Okay, here now, Russians make a move to the 50-yard line. Dorito, that should shift. At least the back center's gun is going to have to shift over to that side. Let's see if he actually makes that shift, though. No, he still hasn't shifted. He's still trying to keep the Russians out of the snake. Russians just playing, they're slow playing this right now. Oh, there goes Britnikoff cutting across from the center. We haven't really seen that move yet this event. And then kind of takes a risk as he goes high around the corner, but able to get in clean. And now he's going to gunfight across the field with the 30-yard line. Dorito, oh, back center dies for Chattanooga. So 3 Chattanooga players left, 2 on the Dorito side of the field and 1 on the Snake side. And now here the Russians starting to press their advantage. They have 5 bodies still alive. Only 1 on the Dorito side, and he's in the 50-yard line. He's in a very good position, but he needs to really not die over there because he doesn't have any help, and he really needs to let, oh, Pantalev get shot out of here right behind Britnikoff, dying out of his bunker. It's kind of uncharacteristic for him. So Britnikoff in the driver's seat right now as he's past the 50-yard line in the Snake. You see the back corner bunker for Chattanooga, kind of unsure of which way he needs to shoot his gun. Well, actually he's doing a good job. He's keeping his gun up towards the 50-yard line, Dorito, which is his best shot. But he's still peeking out a little bit here. I mean, he's hanging his head out. So, I mean, he's head checking, and but he's as tight as he possibly can be. But as soon as Britnikoff tries to wrap around here, or at least head check out on the side, try to gunfight, I think he might be able to get a shot on him. There, now you see Britnikoff. He's edging out, and he's going to try to get his shot in. Oh, whew, barely misses his head. Britnikoff just posted up right now in the Snake. You can see that's Britnikoff. This is the angle right here. Doesn't have a shot on him right now, but he keeps head checking there. Player in the back corner head checks again. He's kind of in not a very good position. He's going to have to try to get a kill here. And you're in that position, and you're kind of really trying to get as small as possible, and it's really tough to get. You can't gunfight both sides because you just don't have enough room to maneuver your gun. And slow point right here, 5 minutes and 18 seconds left to play. Russians up a point, score is 4-3. This is the second game of the day here. Last day of the competition in Galveston, Texas for the inaugural event, PSP 2011 season. Matty Marshall bringing you all the play-by-play action. Ooh, Britnikoff just narrowly I actually really enjoy watching Britnikoff play. He's very entertaining, makes dynamic moves, and is pretty aggressive as far as his gunfights are concerned. All the Russians honestly are not scared to get into a gunfight. Because they train so much. These guys have an indoor training facility in Moscow, and they really put hours in. They get paid. They're professional paintball players. And now Britnikoff is trying to make something happen. Actually, yeah, so there's 3 bodies left alive. It's 4-on-3 right now. 1 body advantage for the Russians. You can see it looks like gun problems are setting in for the front player on the Dorito side for Chattanooga. And something's going to break here. Actually, Britnikoff's out of paint too. Britnikoff looking on the ground, trying to pick up paint. It always frustrates me when I see guys run out of paint. You know, you should be able to monitor your paint level, and if you're getting to the point where you should really, I mean, this is a longer point, but that's when you think maybe carry out an extra pod. You know, maybe go with a 5-pack instead of a 4-pack, or 4-pack instead of 3-pack. So all of these players are just chilling in their bunkers, gunned up right now, dinking away. And Britnikoff, I was going to say, I don't necessarily think he has the ball. He can, if he can't move to the insert Dorito. He can't, well, he can, but he's going to be exposed to the Dorito across field when he does that. I think they actually shot out the back corner because I haven't seen him there for a while. No, he's still in there. He's just wrapping around the corner trying to get a shot down the line. Yeah, you can see him right there. He's wrapped around on your screen. He's wrapped around, not exposing himself to Britnikoff. And the Russians, they don't need to win this point. They're winning the game right now, and this is the style of ball they play when you come down on time. There's 2 minutes and 36 seconds left on the clock, so the Russians are just going to chill here and just post up, and they know that Chattanooga has to come into them. So Chattanooga is faced with a situation where they need to make something happen. They need to make something happen in about the next 30 seconds, because if they don't, then they're going to either lose the point or have to concede the point, and then they're not going to have enough time to score those 2 quick points. So they need to get something going right here. They can't just let this time go down. Under 2 minutes here, just a few seconds. And you can see this Chattanooga player is just posted up. Now look at that Chattanooga player over there. He is starting to get on his feet, but they're running out of time. They have to make something happen here, and they need to do it now. There's really not a lot of places they can go. Britnikoff is zoned up cross field, saving his paint. He hasn't shot his gun in probably about a minute, because he really is just posted up to keep that player from streaking down and try to bunker out his Dorito player. Britnikoff's picking up paintballs. Oop, found a stack of paintballs. Put some dirty, swelled up Morning Dew paintballs into his gun. Yeah, everyone's running out of paint. Just saw the back player for Chattanooga throw a pod. Actually, nice throw. So now he has some more paint, but it doesn't. There's a minute 13 seconds left. They have to. They got to. Now they're basically in a situation where they got to giddy up and try to tie this game up and take it into sudden death overtime. But they can't just sit here and expect to shoot these Russian players. These Russian players are just going to hide. I mean, if you see the middle player and the back player for Britnikoff literally have not exposed themselves in 2 minutes. They're just posted up. You watch, like, back player for Britnikoff's watching over Britnikoff, and the center player is watching over the 50 Dorito. I mean, they're perfectly set up to win this point, and hold off Chattanooga's onslaught, which isn't coming right now. And maybe this is some inexperience on Chattanooga's part and clock management, which is really tough to do when you're practicing, because you don't really have an accurate. Well, you can. If you work hard at it, you can get a timing system set up, which is kind of key. So if you're listening out there and you guys are getting ready, practice clock management. And here we go. Now he's making a move. Nice move. Loses his gun, though, and gets shot in the pack by Malloy. Malloy perfectly composed, shoots both guys. Major penalty for... Yes, so major penalty. Britnikoff thought for a second it was on him. And major penalty assessed against Keene, and that is going to do it. So nice job by Britnikoff. Expertly played by the Russians. That was textbook closing a game out right there. Completely textbook. And on the flip side, that was not enough time for Chattanooga in order to make that push. I mean, you see the clock is stopped at 10 seconds because the refs are conversing about what's going to happen. Looked like a major penalty was thrown on Chattanooga, but I'll tell you what, if you're watching out there, clock management is very important. You can't put yourself in a position where you're not going to have enough time to hang the flag. There's in the chaos of the last points go down. I'll tell you what, though, it was a good move. The back corner, Chattanooga ran down, and he did the Superman one-handed gat shot over the bunker, but Malloy had just moved out of the way. So it looked nice, looked very pretty, it looked very athletic, but he got a major penalty, and he didn't shoot Malloy, and he did it too late. So too little, too late for Chattanooga. They are going to lose this match 5-3 to the Russians. I'm Matty Marshall. You just watched the Russians play a masterful last point. And we got a ton more paintball action coming at you here at Galveston, Texas for the first event of 2011 season. Stick around.